Australia Day is topical, like it's coming up. It's the same narrative every year. Australia Day is the 26th of January. A lot of Australians think, yay, Australia, let's celebrate Australia. Not understanding the true history of Australia and what the impacts of colonialism has meant for the First Nations people. So how am I going to go and celebrate on a day that meant the beginning of the end of our culture and our ways of being and loving and being on country, you know? And there was a lot of, like I said, colonialism impacts have caused a lot of death. There were a lot of massacres. Even if viewers go in and go Australian massacres, it'll bring up a University of Newcastle. It'll bring up a map. You click on the link, and over a period of 100 years, you can see that the map will light up with all these yellow spots. Looks pretty, but what those yellow dots are on that map is on occasions of massacres where the settlers have come in and massacred people. And massacres, even to the point of this has happened all over Australia, very common, would push Aboriginal people up to a cliff or a high place, and then pretty much the Aboriginal people would jump, because the alternative was to be beaten and shot. So, these are the things. And so when you come to 26th of January, which is Australia Day, which is a public holiday, and everybody gets together and just chuck a shrimp on the barbie, mate, and carry on like lunatics. Some of them, not everybody. I'm not trying to throw everybody out, the baby out in with the bathwater. But there's a lot of Australians that don't understand. And I just think, this is the thing that's always shocked me. I'm a decent human being. I'd like to think that I'm kind, I'm considerate. I teach my children to be kind, to use their manners, to be polite. And then, and then you think, well, everybody's be doing this because we're all good people. That's the starting point. How can you ask someone? It's like asking someone to celebrate the death on the day of your mother or your father or someone significant to you had died. Let's go and have a party on the day that, and you just go, no, I don't want to have a party on a date that recognizes the death of someone that I love. And so that's a typical yearly debate and rhetoric. And, in the conservative right media love it. They drum it up all the time. They drum it up all the time. They drum up the welcomes to the country. They drum up, Australia Day. We can't have Australia Day because look at all these Aboriginal fellas protesting. Because we call it, Aboriginal people call it either Survival Day or Survival Day, or what's the other one? I always call it Survival Day. So it's a day of celebration. It might be the big birth of a country. But for me, it's that even all the atrocities that's happened over the last 230 years, we're still here. We're still here. We're still caring for country. We're still trying to revive our culture and practice our culture and enjoy the right to be who we are as a people, as an identity unto ourselves. And in amongst all of that, we don't have crimes of violence or hate against, against the broader community. Yes, you'll get people that might get a bit, fiery and loud in marches and protests, but ultimately those marches and protests, they're peaceful. So yeah, look, that's a snapshot. I'm very conscious of doing most of the talking, but there's a lot to unpack. Again, I've just tried to highlight some of the highlight what's happened over the last 238 years and some two very topical things at the moment. Australia Day, or the Welcome to Country and Australia Day. So I'm writing a show, and I'll probably try. I will incorporate some mention of those events, just to give context. Because again, Australia Day, Welcome to Countries. We're loving people. How do you know? Because it's not called a fuck off from country. But yeah.